Over the past few weeks, I felt myself start slipping into a rut, or some sort of limbo, and I was waiting for something to happen. I didn't know what that would be, but essentially something that would act as a trigger that was going to get me out of the state of limbo and back into my normal, productive life. I don't have a great explanation for why this happened. My best guess is just because I'm taking all of my classes from my apartment, and things are just looking a little bit different from a social perspective this semester. But what I realized is that even though I have this routine, my mindset just hasn't been where it normally is over the past 3 years. What I realized though is that things aren't really changing anytime soon. COVID-19 isn't going anywhere in the near future, and for the rest of the semester and perhaps even into next semester, I'll be taking my classes from my apartment and not really seeing many of my friends. And at this point, I realized that unless I wanted to waste my semester waiting for something to happen, I needed to take action into my own hands and stop waiting for some sort of trigger and actually figure out how to get myself out of this rut. Of course, it wasn't immediately obvious what I should be doing to get myself out of a rut. If it were, then no one would get stuck in ruts in the first place. But eventually what I settled on was finding something that I could incorporate into my day every single day, regardless of social limitations, the weather, or anything else like that I enjoyed and that was going to make me better in some way. Now, after hearing myself say that out loud, this is beginning to sound like a little bit of a self-help video, and maybe it is, but speaking truthfully, this is really what got me out of my rut. The first thing that I decided to incorporate was reading. Now, over the past few years, I haven't really done any reading of my own. Sure, I've done some technical reading and reading for classes, but the last time I sat down and just read books for myself was probably late in high school. And trust me, I know what you're probably thinking because I've seen those videos on YouTube too of the people who say, I read a book a week for a year and this is how it changed my life. I never really bought into that and this isn't really what I'm talking about. But I can honestly say that reading books, even if it's not a book a week, is actually shifting my mindset and making me more productive in other aspects of my life. The biggest impact that reading books again has had on me is that it shifted my mindset from, oh, I wish I knew more about thing X, but it's not really in my field of study, so I'll probably never really know that much about it, to, oh, I'm curious about X, so I'll just get a book out of the library and at least learn the basics, and then from there maybe I'll learn some more on my own. I remember the first time that I thought about this was around the beginning of this year, so about 9 months ago, and it was after hearing about how Bill Gates has read so many different books, that he's knowledgeable on so many different topics, even if they seem completely unrelated to the things that he normally works with. This concept really fascinated me because it meant that I could expand my little bubble of knowledge that I have about computer science to understanding so many other disciplines and other things in life that as a computer scientist I might never really be exposed to. Anyways, before I go off on a whole tangent about this video is not about reading more books. The reason that I bring it up is because it made me excited to learn again. I would wake up in the morning and I would read a little bit of my book, and I'd be productive for the entire day learning about computer science and things that are related to my discipline, and then I would end the day by reading a little bit more of my book, and it might not have anything to do with computer science, but I was just excited to learn something new. And I think that this serves as a perfect segue into the second thing that I wanted to talk about in this video, which was making sure I was taking proper care of myself. In a typical school year, I would normally be walking to my classes every day, going to the gym occasionally, and going on a weekend run. And what I realized is this year I wasn't doing any of those things. Since I'm taking all my classes from my apartment, I really haven't had to go out and walk around the campus much. I could go to the gym, but I'm just a little bit concerned about doing that due to COVID. And then finally, I've been going on my weekend runs because I'm just concerned about being able to breathe with a mask on, especially since I haven't been training all summer. The truth is, for a little while, I was actually perfectly okay with this. And then what I realized is this just amounted to me making excuses for letting myself get really out of shape and not taking care of myself. So I decided that the one thing that I could do every single day, regardless of the weather, regardless of COVID-19, or anything else, was work out in my room. And now at this point I could have said, well, I don't have any equipment in my room, and I don't have a whole lot of space, and if you watched my day in the life video, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But what I realized is those would just be more excuses, and ultimately I had no good reason not to be able to do exercises in my room. I ended up settling on something that I used to do several years ago, and it's HIIT, or HIIT, which is High Intensity Interval Training. The significant thing about this is it doesn't require me to have any weights or equipment, and I can do it in a relatively small amount of space. Also, because it's high intensity and you can pretty easily get your heart rate up, you don't really need to do it for that long to get the benefits, which is perfect for someone like me who's trying to save time and find something that I can do on a daily basis without saying I need to carve out an hour or 2 hours of my day to go on a long run. Once again, like I said in the section about reading books, this video isn't about high intensity interval training. What it's about is making sure you're looking after yourself, because it's very easy to feel in a rut and let yourself slip physically and mentally if you're not actively staying on top of it. The main takeaway for this video is, at least if you're like me and you're stuck in a rut, find something that is mentally and physically stimulating for you, and make sure you've removed the barrier to entry so you actually do it on a daily basis. And at least for me, this has definitely helped in getting my mindset right and feeling a lot better about myself physically just by doing 2 relatively simple things every single day. If you guys have anything that you'd like to share, whether it be for your physical or your mental health or just anything in general, feel free to leave those down below in the comments. I know I would definitely enjoy seeing them, and I'm sure other people would appreciate seeing some other opinions other than the 2 things that I mentioned in this video. Alright, if you got something out of this video, please hit that thumbs up button and feel free to share it with someone else. I really appreciate it, and if you're new here and you want to see new videos every single week, make sure to subscribe. That's it. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one.